Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Soni and I am Program Director at TCS Iron Direct Academy channel. I will be your host for today's talk show. On behalf of TCS Iron Direct, I welcome you all to the webinar on the topic, what media recruiters look for in candidates. The organizational culture and demand of media companies is changing very fast, especially with the digital media presence. Media organizations and institutions have changed their work style. Hence, in this digital world, it's very important to understand the scope of media, whether it is print, electronic, radio, or digital. So, in this webinar, we will understand more about the opportunities which are available in media and know about what media recruiters look for in candidates from our guest speaker today, Mrs. Saburika Kantharia ma'am. So, before beginning the show, let me introduce our speaker today. Saburika ma'am is the founder of Q Human Resource Consultancy, which works with fastest growing SMEs and mature organizations in the space of organization transformation. She is also a career transition and leadership coach certified by International Coaching Federation. She was also the ex-CHRO of media conglomerate Jagran Prakashan Limited. She is a postgraduate in Human Resource Management from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. She has been conferred the HR Leadership Award by Asia Pacific HRM Congress 2012, Most Influential HR Leadership Award by World HR Congress in 2017, 100 Top Training and Development Minds by World HR Congress in 2018. Her key experience includes strategic HR leadership and leadership development. Over the years, she has mentored and coached middle level, senior level employees and CXOs. She has also worked with the CEOs in setting up the organizational culture and bringing the business transformation. She is also the part of SGI, Soka Gaggai International, an organization propagating world peace and humanity. She is in the managing committee of the International Coaching Federation Mumbai chapter. She also holds the position in the managing committee of Business Network International. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am, from TCS Iron Direct.
Thank you so much, Rahul, and thank you for inviting me, TCS and Rahul, for this session. And I'm very happy to share my learnings, having worked with media and entertainment throughout. I'll be very happy to share whatever I have learned over the years.
Once again, thanks a lot, ma'am. So let's begin the show. So, my first question for you, let's start with the understanding. What are the different forms of media? How is the categorization done, like print, electronic, digital, or new media?
So, since I understand that the audience is students and maybe they are looking at getting into media, let me just tell you that media is a very interesting field to be in. Of course, it looks from the outside, it looks very glamorous, but yes, the glamour is there. I wouldn't say that it's not there. But it is also a lot of hard work, and at the same time, it's a lot of fun. Each day you're learning something new. It's so dynamic that you constantly learn. You never stop learning. So that's what I want to start with. I also want to start with the size of the industry, so that the audience get a perspective what it is. As per the data, it's about 1.38 trillion INR industry, which is growing on year at 14%. And by 2023, it is likely to grow by 17%, and the size of the industry will be around 2.23 trillion INR. Yeah. So, and it provides jobs to around 4 million Indians. In addition to what you mentioned about print, electronic, and digital, I would also add the audio and also the experiential. Print, we all understand it's a newspaper, the English, Hindi and languages, and the electronic is television, which is GEC and the news. Yeah, and digital, there's online gaming, online news, online entertainment, etc. And to that audio, I would say that, the radio and the music, which is there, the music industry, which is there in existence, and apps and radio. And experiential, the out of home then the activations, the events, then there is this film and entertainment. So all those are also part of the media industry per se. And just to tell you, in terms of contribution, in terms of the size and the revenue of the organization, television is the highest contributor, which is around 760 billion, and it is growing at 7%. Followed by digital, which is at around 260 billion, and growing at around 23%. And which is again followed by the print, which is still the third largest, which is around 223 billion, and which is growing at 11%. And the other mediums which I spoke about are also very fast growing. In fact, I would also want to talk about the online gaming, which has grown in the last year, at the highest, around 27%, and it's right now 99 billion, and it is going to give around 1 million jobs to Indians by 2030. So that's the kind of scope the media has. So overall, it's a very interesting place to be in. A lot of learning, a lot of innovation, which media continues to do. So it's a great career option.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for answering this. And as you said, it's very vast field. There are n number of opportunities for youngsters, for students in this media sector. But apart from this, they want to have the right expertise for that. So next question is coming from there only. So ma'am, please tell us about the required qualification. How important is it to have some domain expertise? Does it help in getting selected for the desired position or different positions in media?
I firmly believe that having domain expertise is very, very necessary. First of all, it will give you an understanding what goes into, various, if you choose to be an editorial or if you choose to be in the entertainment, so you understand what it is, and it also saves a lot of bandwidth for the manager because you are job ready. You just need to be taught few things and then you are ready for the job. So I'll just divide this into content and non-content, kind of qualification. When I say content, it would be like editorial, like I mentioned, if you want to join a news, whether it is digital, whether it is television, or whether it is print. And when I'm talking, or in terms of programming, if it is radio. And if I'm talking about non-content, which will be like sales, HR, marketing, IT, administration, and various other fields. So qualification of definitely for, let me just talk about the non-content teams. You need an MBA if you are in HR or marketing or in the sales. And if you're in finance, you need to be a CA. And if you are in marketing, again, you need to be, MBA. And IT, of course, you need to be a BE, So, and in terms of the non-content, which is the content team, of course, there are a lot of journalism schools and some of the best, like Asian School of Journalism, where I've hired a lot of students are very bright, and Jamia Millia is one of them, and there are various other colleges. Similarly, for radio, there's Whistling Road and even Radio City. We started Radio City School of Broadcasting and all of that. So the domain expertise definitely help, when it comes to work. However, I would also like to add that it's not always necessary that but you have the acumen and you have the passion to go for it, then you should. For example, while I was with Radio City, we hired MBA students to be in the programming, and it's not that they did very well. Of course, we took tests to check their creativity and their inclination towards that kind of function, and when we hired them, and they did pretty well in that as well. So you need to have that acumen and that interest, that passion for whatever you are doing.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for explaining about the domain expertise, for which students can really focus for that. Again, the next question is about related to expertise only, but in different segments of media. So generally, it's a perception, or what I call it as a myth, that people think that media is only about journalism or writing. But media organizations also has many departments like marketing, finance, HR, advertising, public relations. So please tell us about these in numerous opportunities available in these type of.
Yeah, I can completely relate to you for this question, because when I was in Times of India, anybody I would say that I work with Times of India, immediately the next question, are you a journalist? And when I joined Radio City, people would, are you an RJ? So I can completely understand that, many people are not aware that it functions like any other organization. There are employees who are from, if it is a small organization, from 100 to 1,000 or more, employees would be there. So you need an HR who would kind of recruit, train, retain the employees. Similarly, you need finance department to manage the cost, make the employee payment, vendor payment, and ensure that the company is in good health. When it comes to marketing, you need to market your organization. You need to create the visibility for your organization. You need marketing, PR, etc., so that your sales team is able to go and sell outside, right? And you need IT and infrastructure to ensure that the employees, the entire team is well looked after in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of IT. IT is today is the backbone for any organization. If you see in the current times how suddenly everybody was told to shift and work from home, then HR and IT played a big role in ensuring that it's seamless, right? And going forward, it is going to be very, very important, these functions to ensure that the organization take on well with the digital and the technology. Yeah. So HR would be required to manage the whole change management, and IT would be required to facilitate all this technical changes which is required. So all the departments play a very, very critical role. Of course, no doubt, in terms of the numbers, the sales and the content or editorial team is large in media organization, while the other departments would be smaller in terms of their size.
So I think this is a important information for our viewers, because some of them are thinking like if they are good writers or if they are good journalists only, then only they can get opportunity in big organizations. But it's not like that. In other sectors also they can try within the media only. And coming to the next important question about the career growth, basically everyone is concerned about this question. So how does the career graph look like for a new entrant once he joins the media? How does it reflect in the remuneration?
Okay. So here I would divide the workforce into revenue and non-revenue. Okay, when I say revenue, which is the sales department. So they generally start as a management trainee if they are coming from an MBA institute, and they become a key account manager where they are managing the account, work with the advertising agencies or big corporates, and or work in a retail where they are working with a small and medium enterprises really. And they go on to become about 5-6 years. They go on to become the team leaders and maybe handle a category itself and have a team reporting to them. And they become a regional sales head, which means that they are responsible for their market as such. And then they go on to become a national sales head. And one day, if they display good, good knowledge, etc., they can also become a CEO one day. Yeah. So that's a kind of group. In terms of non-revenue, which is like HR, marketing, programming, etc., they again start as a trainee, and then they grow on to become, for example, if it is HR, then from a recruitment, they would also need to have an expertise in various areas of training, performance management, and then they become HR head. Similarly, for programming or for editorial, if you say, if they're handling a particular beat, they will become a principal correspondent after a few years of experience in gaining an expertise in that, and lead on to become a bureau chief, and one day become a resident editor and executive editor of their organization. Similarly, for programming, like there's RJ and producer. So if one wants to become a programming head, they need to have an understanding of all the functionings of the programming. so that they one day become a programming head and then they become a national programming head, etc. So it's a steady growth. It is for each one to learn and absorb. More expertise you gain, obviously you will rise up the career, right? Since you spoke about the starting salary, especially the sales level would be around 6 to 7 lakh. Of course, they have the incentive built in their package, and for the non-sales, it would be a non-revenue function. It will be around 4 to 5 or 5.5. It depends on each organization. Mostly, this is the salary bracket which they join, and of course, every year based on their performance, they get an increase of about 10 to 15% or more. That also depends on how the organization has done that year. So,
thanks a lot, ma'am, for taking the overall career basically, because many of the students or the professionals have doubts about it, because and you rightly said it's totally depend on the expertise level basically. If you are expert in something, so you can be at the height of that career. The next question, what additional should the students do alongside their regular courses to get into the media? Because I have seen some students in the school level also, they write books, they are fond of writing, they are reading also. So these type of habits or these type of hobbies generally help in media sector.
So most of these colleges, in today's age, like if you consider, there are 4 or 5 skills which are very, very important. The way we are working, also the way the organizations are, developing. So one is the digital knowledge. You need to have digital knowledge in terms of how, in your work, how would you use the social media? How would you use the digital to kind of enhance your own productivity and the organization's productivity, right? So, but what I have seen is that most of the MBA colleges and also journalism, or if you say RJ or programming courses, they or if even management, etc., they include digital. However, if you feel that your organization has not been able to cover that well, you need to spend that extra hour either on your own to learn or enroll for a course and learn digital, because that is that is the way forward, right? So that is one, I would say. The other is that the students need to have the softer skills, which is the cognitive skills, because today most of the organizations are working from home, and hybrid work culture is something which most of the organizations which are considering, and we never know with this pandemic how many months or more that we will be required to work from home and remotely, etc. So you need to display the cognitive skills, like which you need to be able to do your problem solving yourself. Like in a normal scenario, when you're sitting with your boss, you can go up to your boss, and ask him for a solution. Here also you can ask virtually, but then still this is the next level skill. Like you are able to solve your problem yourself, your boss will value that much more. You need to be displaying high emotional intelligence because you're working remotely. So, there's no boss to kind of tell you that you've done a good job, you motivate you. You need to self-motivated yourself, right? And also how to work with dispersed team. You need to be adaptable because the things are changing so fast. Like you can't be stuck with the old habits or, mujhe nahi pasand hai, I don't want to do this. You need to be adaptable and do it, whether you like it or not. And the last bit is accountability, high level of accountability, which needs to be displayed because you're working remotely and your boss is banking on you, and you need to be, whatever targets you have been given, whatever assignment you have been given, a deadline you need to, match and ensure that you do it. So I would say that along with the digital quotient, which they need to improve on themselves, these are soft skills which they need to build.
Now, very important, you have to be adaptable. I think it is applicable for fields. The students which are hiring for the media, so they have to be adaptable. Ma'am, apart from this, generally I have seen after 2 or 3 years, students do some take some education, take some other courses, but afterwards they realize they have done some big mistake coming into this field or coming into other field. So, what are the major mistakes which generally candidates do while entering into?
Mm. So I've seen that, many a times, you mostly, but I must also admit that, today's generation, they're very focused, you know. But over the years, I've seen that there are people who are not very focused, and they really do not know, why they have got into a particular field. Yeah. So many a times that, parents tell you, you take a particular stream, you take science, or you do PE, but the person's heart is saying, no, I'm good in writing, I want to write, I want to be a journalist, yeah, or I want to be an RJ. I've seen those cases as well. So many times the students, they take, whatever has been kind of communicated by their parents, or if their best friend is doing something, whether you have the talent or not, you would want to do this. So I would here urge the students to do a lot of research. First of all, I have those 3 circles which I was talking to Rahul about, which is called hedgehog concept. You need to know what you are passionate about, what is your passion, what do you want to do, and what you're good in, what are you talented in, first of all, okay? And once you've done that, do you think that you are going to be the best in the world? You have to always aim high, right? I want to be the best in the world. I want to be best in India. Okay. So when you are able to identify what you're passionate about, and for example, like you said, बहुत सारे बच्चे जो है, they're reading in the school, colleges, they're writing. So can they become a great journalist? I mean, that is for them to find out that this what they want to do for their, rest of their life. Yeah. So they need to find out what they're passionate about, what they can be best at, what is it that I do every day which does not look to me like work. Typically in corporates, people work for 10 hours, at a stretch. So your work should not look like should not feel like a burden, or should not be overwhelming for you. Yeah? And of course, what is it that the 3rd circle which talks about, what is it that will give them the financial security, because that is also very important for everybody, right? So they need to find that out. It's a very difficult process, but the students should sit alone, talk to their friends, talk to their family, and identify what they're passionate. When you do that, then you will be able to, find out what is it that you want to go ahead with in your profession.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for explaining this. I can see here so many questions from audience side. So we will take 1 or 2 questions from here. How can we get into international media? There is a question from someone. He has not given his name. So he is asking about the international media, how they can create their career there.
So they need to obviously do a course, international course in journalism. There are a lot of colleges, like I know of, in Australia, there is some university which provides, there are US-based organizations. So you need to basically major, do your courses there, and then do additional course in terms of your English, of course, has to be good. If you're going migrating to US, you have to do your ITLS and all of that, and you have to kind of apply for the university there. Harvard also provides, so you need to do your own search to get into that international media, and obviously from there you would get an you will get internship, etc.
So I can see some more questions. So which course is best for media career? I think you have already covered this question. But if you want to, ma'am, highlight one question is about the journalism, basically. I can name Mr. Jayesh Patil is asking about what are the skills do we need for a journalist to become a journalist?
So the skills that you need for becoming a journalist is, of course, you need to have the basic language skills, and you need to have that, intuitive. You need to have that curiosity, because journalism is about going and finding out, what's happening outside, and you should be the first one to kind of get the news. Do you have that investigative mind? So you need to have those skills. Are you willing to? Because journalism again is not that easy. You need to go to difficult places. For example, this time the journalists during the COVID, they had gone out, risking their lives and going and finding out things to cover in the media. So you need to have those skills and the determination that I'll do it. So it's like every day is a new day for the journalist, right? So you need to, if you in journalism there are two parts to it. One is that if you want to be in investigative journalism, then that is one. The other is feature writer. People who like to write on certain aspect. For example, it could be lifestyle, it could be any of these things where they need to build that expertise in themselves to write some nice qualitative article. The language skills have to be very good. So if we are talking about print, if you're talking about you want to be a TV journalist and you want to be presenter, or you want to be you need to have again the camera presence, etc.
So thanks a lot, ma'am, for explaining this and answering this question. So coming to the next question which we have right now, about the digital media presence only, how much weightage is given to the social media presence and branding that the student creates for himself while recruiting him or her to media?
So social media has become very, very important. In fact, I was looking at one of the research sometime back, which says that 70% of the employers, they look at social media. Primarily for two reasons, and I have also done that. So prime for reason that is this person a culture fit in the organization? What is it that he's putting out on the social media? Is he going to match with our vision, mission, and values? Is he writing something very derogatory which can harm my brand? So all those kind of checks are done to understand, because today that's a free platform where anybody can write anything. So therefore it's very, very important. The same rule applies, hire for attitude and train for the skills. So you have to keep that in mind when you are putting out things on your social media. Just to give you some tips on how to manage your social media, because I have done a lot of critical recruitments out of LinkedIn. So you need to share, first of all, your profile needs to be very, very clear and state what you are as a person and what is your interest area. Maybe share some of your skill sets that you can bring to the table, share your achievements, write about the area that you want to gain expertise in, or if you are a good writer, or even if you can share an article if you're not writing it, especially at a young age. You are not expected to write also, but if you are writing very well and good after researching, etc., and you can also put out the articles that you have read. So that kind of gives an idea about you as a person, that what this person will bring to the organization.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for answering this. Right, so we have one more important question from Chandan Kumar. What we were discussing right now in the last questions. Recently, he has completed his engineering. So what is the pathway for media?
Okay. So can you also ask him, what does he want to get into? Does he want to get into sales, marketing, or journalism? What does he want to get into?
Okay, so he has not specified anything. He has only written how he can go into the field of media. So
okay. So if you want to get into media, if you want to get on in sales, then you need to do your MBA. Or if you want to get into marketing or HR, etc., you need to do your MBA clearly. And if you want to get into journalism, if you have, if you want, you should. In fact, you should take some journalism course if you want to be a journalist, or if you want to be in, say, television GC, then you need to understand the media. So you need to do a course. Yeah? If you can, otherwise also without doing any course, you may apply, and I'm sure a lot of organizations, they have their own test of checking, and they find you fit, then you will be hired. For example, I had taken a lot of MBA students who wanted to be in the programming side, so, or in the journalism. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for answering this question. So I was asking, in the digital media age right now, so there is a conflict between newspapers, news channels, and other digital media platforms also. So students or any professional might get confused that he or she should go in print platform first, because some journalists or some media professionals say that you have to start from there. So there is any challenge with the digital media? Do you think like that?
No, not really. If you see, even if you're in print today, most of the media would have a digital. It's necessary to have your digital arm as well. Whether you consider Times of India, whether you can consider any other organization like Indian Express, etc. So it is not necessary that you have to cross a path of first to be in the print and then into television and then into digital, etc. Not really. So you can directly get into digital also, because each one of them are very different, in terms of their requirement. Okay. So nowadays most of the news are broken on digital. Yeah, because that reaches faster, and television. So you need to be there's a format like you need to multitask in both these cases, like in television as well as in digital. You need to multitask. It's not that you need to be just a journalist. You need to be a photojournalist also. You need to handle a camera also, if a footage is required, and put out the story faster. So it's about the speed. Yeah, so it's not necessary that you have to cross these paths, but however, all the media companies have the digital as part of their portfolio. Yeah? So whether it is television, whether it is print, also. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for explaining. So it's really awesome to know about this media sector from you. You have covered almost every aspect of it. So I'm sure our audience now will have better understanding about media, and they can work on their strengths and weaknesses to enter into this field. So once again, thanks a lot, Sagarika ma'am, for sharing your opinion and your views with us. It was an engaging webinar.
Thank you. Thank you.